Now, have you ever wondered how old the universe is? Scientists at the University of KwaZulu-Natal are shining a light on this, age-old question. Boffins at UKZN are collaborating with the US National Science Foundation's Atacama Cosmology telescope. That's a mouthful. They're taking a fresh look at the oldest light in the universe. Well, Associate Professor of Astrophysics, Matt Hilton, joining us to tell us more this morning. Matt, a very good morning to you, and I don't envy you this task. So, how close are you to answering how old the universe actually is?
Well, from these measurements, we know the age of the universe pretty accurately. So if we're talking specifically about the age of the universe, it's about 13.8 billion years old, plus or minus about 40 million years.
Okay, all right, that's a lot of years anyway. So how have you managed to determine this? I mean, what did you use to actually figure this out?
So this is results from the Atacama Cosmology telescope, this experiment led from Princeton in the US, which UKZN is collaborating on. And what this experiment does is it's taking images of the universe when it was about 380,000 years old. So we're seeing this oldest light in the universe is from when the universe became neutral, so it cooled enough to form neutral atoms. And so what this telescope does is looking at the bumps and wiggles in this oldest light of the universe. And from the separation of those bumps and the wiggles, we can actually figure out the properties of the universe that we live in. So particularly the key result from this today is the expansion rate of the universe has been measured with this telescope. And what's interesting is that this agrees with what's been found with the Planck data light. So we have two independent measurements of this oldest light in the universe, which are agreeing on the age of the universe and its current expansion rate.
All right, exactly, which is 13.77 billion years, give or take 40 million, which is still baffling anyway. So I'm going to ask a very pedestrian question, but how do you know this is the oldest light in the universe?
So we believe the universe started in a hot Big Bang. So back at the very beginning, the universe was, had temperatures of millions of Kelvin. And after about 380,000 years, it's cooled down enough to about 3,000 Kelvin, and that's when neutral hydrogen atoms can form, when the protons and the electrons can combine to make neutral hydrogen. Now, we see this light today, instead of at 3,000 Kelvin, we see it at about a temperature of 2.7 Kelvin. Okay, so this is something called the cosmic microwave background, which people have known about since the 1960s, but people have been making increasingly better measurements of this over the last few decades.
Okay, well, I'd be lying if I said I knew exactly what you just said to me. I'm going to have to go back and Google some of those terms. But does this, Matt, give us any idea or bring us closer to maybe a definitive answer as to how the universe was created?
So these results agree with kind of our standard model of cosmology. And so we believe we live in a universe which is made of 5% ordinary matter, about 25% mysterious stuff called dark matter, and about 70% something called dark energy. Now, we know what ordinary matter is. We don't know what dark matter and dark energy is. Despite that, this model does describe the data really well. So the real mystery is what those two things are. And so what this new result gives us, what's quite interesting, is the expansion rate that we measure from this oldest light is actually different from the expansion rate measured in our backyard looking at nearby galaxies. Okay, so that's interesting because if these two measurements really are different, then it means there's something missing in our understanding of how the universe works.
Okay.
And so people are getting a bit excited about that.
And I'm a little dizzy after that answer as well, but I want to ask you one quick one. Can you tell if we're alone? If you can tell all of this, are we alone in the universe?
We're not looking at that, but I would say statistically there's so many stars and galaxies in the universe that it seems pretty impossible that we're not.
Okay.
But I don't know where they are, no.
Okay, you don't want to know. Thanks very much, Matt Hilton. A fun chat there. So there you know. Universe, 13.77 billion years old, give or take 40 million years.